You know that feeling, right? The one you get after a long day at your desk? That stiffness in your neck, the brain fog that just seems to roll in around 3 o'clock. Maybe your hands and feet feel kind of cold. It's like the modern workday has its own uniform, and it's made of tension. And we usually blame ourselves, don't we? Oh, my posture is terrible, or I really need to stretch more. But what if that's not the problem at all? What if we've been looking at it all wrong? Okay, let's get into it. So here's a thought that might just flip everything you thought you knew on its head. This idea comes from a framework called the baseline method, and it completely reframes how we look at our bodies. It says the issue isn't that your posture is bad, the issue is that your body has lost its readiness, its ability to respond to whatever you ask of it. It's a really subtle but incredibly powerful shift in perspective. And this is absolutely crucial. Your body isn't broken. It's not failing you. It's actually doing something super intelligent. It's adapting. It's adapting to the environment you're putting it in every single day. The only problem is that environment is this slow, constant, compressive force that honestly we were just never built to handle for 8 hours a day. I mean, just think about what your body is adapting to. You're sitting for hours on end, so your hips get tight. You're staring, locked onto a screen, so your eyes strain and your neck freezes up to keep your gaze steady. Your brain is going a mile a minute, and you're probably running on coffee and a little bit of stress. See, each of these is a demand, and your body is just trying to meet it. You're not collapsing, you're bracing. You're not lazy, your system is trying to conserve energy. These are survival strategies, plain and simple, but they definitely come with a cost. And that's where this idea of readiness is so key. A system that's ready is fluid, it's warm, it can respond to demand easily. But when readiness drops because of all that bracing and adapting, the body has to, it has to compensate. It starts gripping, locking down, tightening up. That stiffness you feel, that ache in your shoulders, that's not a posture problem. That's your body compensating. So where does this whole chain reaction actually start? You'd probably guess it's your back or your shoulders, right? But here's the crazy part. It often starts with your eyes. We call this the screen siphon effect. And once you understand this, it's a total game changer for desk pain. It's literally a domino effect. First, your eyes lock onto the screen. To help them stay stable, your neck instinctively stiffens up. Now, when your neck is rigid, your rib cage can't expand properly with each breath. And if the ribs can't move, your main breathing muscle, your diaphragm, can't really do its job. So the question is, where does the breath go? Yep, it goes right up into your neck. What you're seeing here is the difference between healthy breathing, where the diaphragm does all the heavy lifting, and what happens when the ribs are frozen. It's called accessory breathing. To make sure you're still getting oxygen, your body cleverly recruits all the small, delicate muscles in your neck to pull the rib cage up. It's a fantastic survival hack for a minute or two, but it is a long-term disaster that leads directly to that feeling we all know as tech neck. So if forcing ourselves into good posture or aggressively stretching that tight neck just makes things worse, what on earth are we supposed to do? Well, the answer is to change how we talk to our body. We have to stop yelling at our nervous system with force and start, whispering to it with signals of safety. And this breaks it down perfectly. The old way is all about force. You feel tight, so you yank on it with a hard stretch. But here's the thing. A braced, stressed-out nervous system often fights back. It feels that aggressive stretch as a threat and tightens up even more later. That's called the rebound effect. The new way is all about sending a gentle signal. The idea is to use maybe just 20% of the effort you think you need. That tells your nervous system, hey, it's cool, you're safe, you can let go. I love this metaphor, the sponge paradox. It captures the problem so well. Think of your body's tissues like a sponge. When you're sitting there all braced and tight, that sponge is squeezed hard. Now, you can't force water into a squeezed sponge, right? It just won't go in. First, you have to let go of the squeeze. You have to create space. Hydration isn't just about drinking water, it's about decompressing your tissue so they have the space to actually receive it. All right, so how do we actually do that? How do we release that squeezed sponge while we're sitting at our desks? This is the tool. It's practical, you can do it right now, and honestly, nobody around you will even know you're doing it. This isn't a workout, it's a state reset. It's designed to interrupt that whole bracing pattern right at the source. And the secret sauce for this whole reset is built around this simple rhythm: a 4-second inhale, a little 2-second hold, and a long, slow 8-second exhale. 4, 2, 8. That rhythm is everything. So the first step is what we call the vagal exhale. The real magic here is in that long 8-second exhale. When you exhale for twice as long as you inhale, You're basically hitting the brakes on your fight or flight nervous system. You are sending a powerful signal of safety that tells your body it is okay to soften up and downshift out of that threat response. The full sequence is super simple, and each step builds on the last. You start with that vagal exhale to soften the whole system. Then you add a gaze shift, just looking side to side without moving your head, which helps break that visual lock from the screen and unlock your neck. And finally, as you exhale, you do a rib drop, just allowing your ribs to gently melt down, which finally gives your diaphragm the space it needs to work properly again. So, the real key is knowing when to use this tool. The goal isn't to wait until you're in pain. No, the goal is to intervene when you notice these little yellow light signals. These are the whispers your body sends you long before it has to start screaming with pain. Think of this 2-minute reset as your way of listening to those whispers and managing your state in real time. And how do you know if it's actually working? Well, the cool part is that the feedback is immediate and it's physiological. This is not a placebo effect. This is your biology responding to the new, safe signals you're sending it. You'll know you've hit the reset button when you suddenly get a big, spontaneous yawn or a deep sigh. That's a classic sign your nervous system is shifting gears. You might feel warmth flooding back into your hands as your circulation improves. Or maybe you'll just notice that your breath, all of a sudden, feels deeper and way easier. That's the squeezed sponge beginning to rehydrate. So, if we boil it all down, this is really about a fundamental shift in how you think. It's about moving away from being a reactive pain fixer to becoming a proactive signal manager. That stiffness, the brain fog, the cold hands, they're not just random annoyances. They are signals. And now you have a real tool to respond to them. And I'll leave you with this last thought because it's a powerful one. We tend to wait for pain before we do anything. But what this approach really teaches us is that pain is the body's last resort. It's the final, desperate message it sends after all the quieter signals have been ignored for too long. So, what signals is your body sending you right now?